Roll call, everybody is here, it looks like. Additions to the agenda, I don't believe there's any, Matt?
There are none.
Okay. Approve the agenda?
I move.
I got a motion from Rick and a second from Cheryl. Any other further discussions? Hearing none, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, and carried. Public comment. Anybody here for public comment? Nope. Okay. Consent agenda. We have the minutes from the December 4th and December 17th school board meetings and special meetings. We have the treasurer's report, we have personnel, we have a retirement, and 4 hires. Bills, Cheryl, did you have the opportunity?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I didn't see anything out of the ordinary. Everything's been pre-approved or business as usual.
All right, thanks for doing that. Matt, anything else on the other stuff?
No, obviously the retirement is Joan's retirement that we have been working on and planning for. We have a couple of teachers that are doing the targeted services program, and so those are 2 of the hires. And then we also have a paraprofessional vacancy that was out there, and so that is the 3rd one. So no, I would ask that they are all approved, as we need them to move forward with programming as planned.
Okay.
Second.
So I got a motion from Lou and a second from Cheryl. Any other further discussions? Hearing none, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, and carried. Communication items. Superintendent? Matt?
I have about 4 items for you, and mostly a couple of them are just kind of updates, and then a couple of new things that are out there. First of all is CEO programming. This is something that I believe we first talked about in August, and I've been actively searching for some partners in this. CEO stands for Creating Entrepreneurial Opportunities. Say that one 5 times fast. And I'm striking out. So I think I'm getting to the point where we're probably going to be looking at Plan B on what we might be able to do with that. I'm not being able to find some. It's a tough issue because you need to be geographically connected, and then there also needs to be kind of a student mass component, and so it creates some obstacles. And then given some other partnerships that are already in our region, it makes it even trickier to try to weave this together. So to this point, I've not had a lot of success, and I'm thinking maybe we will go Plan B, and I will get some more possible ideas as how we can improves entrepreneurial opportunities for our kids and stuff, but it might not be with the CEO program as first hoped. So that's just an ongoing item that I'm working on. Second of all, I just want to give the board an update as we roll to January. A couple things are going to be happening in my corner of the world. First of all is I'm going to tackle the Armory building and figure out what the actual game plan is going to be with that. We are going to be running up with a deadline because there are some bond funds out there for that building, and we have a September of 2019 date that is going to be a critical date as far as allocating bond funds and stuff. So it's something we need to just get moving on and have a plan so that if whatever that plan is, we can execute it by September of 2019. So that'll start after the first of the year. The second item, I also just want the board to know budgeting and planning is really going to pick up speed in January and the early 1920. We've had some preliminary discussions as far as our admin team. Those will continue. So just expect to see some additional information as kind of the budgeting and planning process plays out. You'll see that in my communications. And then lastly, I just wanted to get a word out to everybody. The legislative advocacy dates are starting to come out. So I know that I will be participating in the superintendent's group, the MASA group. I've never been a member of C before, so I actually would like to participate in there. day at the Capitol as well, just to see what that's like and how it goes. And then MSBA also has a day at the Capitol as well. So know that those things are starting to come out. Those dates are. As you see them come across your email, if there are any that you are interested in, please let me know. And I would like to be able to coordinate as best we can. And if we could, maybe more than one of us could go down there, that would be great. But those three organizations, I know they're starting to get their calendars put together and trying to get people figured out as to who's going to be down at the Capitol when. So check your calendar as they come out. Those are the items I have.
Okay, thanks. Elementary school principal, David Orline.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Just wanted to update you on a couple of things. I'm not sure if I'd spoken about this before, but in January, late January, hopefully, we are going to be starting a backpack program. Have I mentioned that before? Okay. So what that is, it's called Paw Packs, and our goal is to send 2 days worth of food home with students who sign up so that there is enough food for over the weekend. Other communities are doing that, and so we have a fairly large number of elementary staff that are working on that process. We had somebody come in that's doing it at Ricori and BBE, and they came in and spoke to us, and so we're hoping that we'll be able to reach about 40 to 50 students every weekend, and we're kind of working on the logistical things right now on purchasing the food and securing some funding for that. So look for that, and hoping to get it going at the end of January, somewhere in there. On January 17th we 6 Thursdays, we're going to be doing our Explore classes again for 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. We tried it last year, and we had 3rd grade on their own, and then 4th and 5th grade were together, and that was where students could sign up for classes and find something that they're interested in. This year we have it so that 3rd, 4th, and 5th will be on the same schedule, so there'll be 3rd graders in a class with 5th graders. And so we're meeting on Thursday to start to look at the class offerings. And so if you're interested in teaching a class, or you know somebody who might be interested in coming in, it's about 30 minutes for 6 Thursdays. And so that will be coming soon. Otherwise, we are getting ready for, we have a school assembly program on Friday at 2 o'clock, and then ready for a holiday break. Any questions?
What kind of classes do you offer for your Explorer program?
We had a couple examples we had last year was Mr. Hess did a woodworking class where they built birdhouse, and they worked on angles and things like that. Garrick had taught a class, and I taught a class on how to make baseball cards and looking at stats and things like that. Just a whole bunch of different, we're hoping to expand the offerings. So we're looking for ideas.
Thank you.
Thank you. High school principal, Robert Hewitt.
Afternoon.
What have you been doing now?
I'm still trying to get rid of the deer in the headlights look. A lot to get caught up on. Starting to get my head wrapped around things, just to let the board know and the community that it looks like I'll be working primarily after the break 3 days a week, with an occasional 4-day week, depending on how things go. So I'm working with Matt to fill that in. So we have my schedule together so the staff and everybody knows when I'll be around. It's hard to believe that we're in the last week before the winter break. It just seems to go faster and faster. Continuing Matt's practice of sending out an email to parents each Monday, just letting them know what's going around the building. It's gone pretty well. I've gotten responses back on a couple things. One is that I forgot to put dance line in, so that has been corrected. Now I add dance line to it, and then the other one was just checking on one of the dates that we had put in as when one of the activities was starting. So the parents are reading them, so that's a good thing. We're going to have limited office hours over the winter break. Okay, we're only bringing in our office staff for just a half a day on a Thursday. That went out in my announcement. I'll send out another report to the parents just reminding them of that. So if they need to get something done, our office just isn't used a whole lot over the winter break. So it's a good time for our secretaries and everybody to recharge their batteries also. We have a number of activities taking place in the building on Friday. We have a blood drive. That's for the staff and the students. I think that's always been a great thing. I like to donate, and this time I donated earlier, so I can't donate this time, but hopefully our students and our staff will do that. We also have a number of homeroom Olympics, and homerooms competing against each other. Really good building or relationship building type of thing in the building. So that'll take place on Friday. We have a coat drive that's going on. It's taking place December 10th through January 4th. Boxes are in the secondary building by the cafeteria and the community ed office. And then just a couple more things. Chess Club is starting. That's starting for grades 6 through 12. Starts on today, December 18th, and December 20th in room 126, Mr. Thompson's room. And then again on January, Tuesdays and Thursdays for 3 weeks. So it's a great opportunity. Just a reminder to parents that winter is here. Dress your kids warm. You know, the kids love to wear even cutoffs and sandals this time of the year. It gets cold, cars break down, buses break down, gloves and hats, and winter appropriate gear. So just remind them to wear that. And then we just have a ton of winter activities going on. Every time Max has been sending me a list of the things, and it's just amazing how many things are going on right now for all of our winter activities. And then the end of the semester is on January 17th. Half the year gone.
Cool.
Questions?
Follow up on the dress
Sure.
for winter.
Yep.
I don't know if it was a bus policy or if it's a school policy, but years ago there was a policy the kids, especially for athletic events, weren't allowed on the bus to go to athletic events if they didn't have full pants on after a certain temperature or whatever. Is there still some kind of policy that?
I don't know, Max, if there's anything that's done. I can check on that.
Might have just been one bus driver.
It could have been just one bus driver. Certainly the coaches, if they see something, if for anything else, for their kids getting sick during this time of the season for the sports, I know that they're reminded to do that. But I've actually seen kids put on real nice warm clothes as they leave the house, and by the time they get on the bus, it's different. Mm-hmm. So it's just a reminder, we just need to remind them that things do happen, and unfortunately there have been tragedies that have occurred because people didn't listen to that. A lot of our students drive, and we have driven these roads enough to know that sometimes it's tough, and cars end up in the ditch or stalled out, so do buses. So they have to have warm clothes. Anything else?
Nope. How's it going so far?
It's going well. I think from my point, I really do mean the deer in the headlight thing. Staff have been just fantastic to work with. There's some things like attendance and lunch accounts and immunizations that we're trying to get caught up on. So there's a number of things that we're just trying to get letters out to parents just as reminders, and that'll hopefully all get out this week before we hit the winter break. So, but it's been going exceptionally well. I had a teacher leadership team meeting today. They filled me in on a lot of things that I just quite didn't have a grip on yet. So a lot of things to think about, a lot of work to do yet.
Okay. Well, thanks for coming and helping us out.
No, not a problem. Thank you.
Thanks, Bob.
G, community report.
I don't know that there are any committee reports since the last time, but may I just say one other thing? Mm-hmm. We do have 4 board members who currently are in their last regular board meeting, and I just want to make sure to thank each of you. School board member and that job duty is a very important one, and this organization relies heavily on it, and sometimes I think it can be a rather thankless position at times, but please do know that your work matters and the decisions that you've made have had a great impact. So thank you on behalf of the community. Thank you. And certainly on behalf of staff, thank you. And by the way, we do have something for the 4 board members that are done. So I need to get the 4 of you afterwards, and we need a photo. Okay. So thank you very much.
All right, we'll move on to old business, district goals. Matt?
I do not have an update on district goals. The one thing that I just want to talk to the board about, and this is going to be first order of business come January, we need to start the strategic planning process again. And so that's going to be first order of business, is actually defining what that process is going to look like and working through exactly what the parameters are going to be for new district goals. But the hope is we'll get started with that most likely the 1st of February. And I am very hopeful that by April, we would be looking at having the board review a draft strategic plan in April, and then actually approving a strategic plan in May is my hope. So February through May is really kind of the timeline that I'm looking at in order to get that all squared away and ready to go. Cool. Okay.
All right. All right, we're going to move on to new business, senior high school representative report. Or is that what we're starting with?
That's what we're starting with.
All right. Where are you guys? Who are the seniors? You guys must be the seniors over here. No?
We're the middle school students.
Those guys?
We're the middle school students going to go first.
No. We're going first. All right, come on down.
We know, yeah, it's front row here. Use the mic.
Okay. I do not have that. That's okay.
So,
Welcome.
good afternoon. Hi. We are the Paynesville High School Student Council officers, and we just want to thank you for having us here today, and we can't wait to share our thoughts with you. I'm Ashley Lai, and I'm the secretary.
My name is Eric Johnson, and I'm the co-president.
I'm Taylor Ryder, and I am PR.
I'm Jacob Bertram. I'm PR also.
I'm Skylar Berg, and I'm an event coordinator.
And I'm Olivia Riley, and I'm the other event coordinator and the other co-president as well.
Okay, so you're doing right? Yeah. So I thought we'd just start by briefly going over what Student Council does, just for you guys who don't know, considering this is our first time leading this this school board meeting. So a lot of our responsibilities have to do with homecoming, and we do things such as we pick the dress up days, we lead everything for coronation, do all the tryouts, we figure out all the royalty ballots, and we lead the Pep Fest and the Iron Man and Powder Puff games. And then we had our first time doing a game night instead of just a full dance for the homecoming dance, and I thought that went really well. So it was a successful thing that we did. So yeah.
Another event that we do is Sweet Fest, and we also pick the dress-up days, run coronation and coronation tryouts, do the royalty ballots, and had another successful dance and game night. And other events we are in charge of is the blood drive, which is this Friday, December 21st. We hope that is another success. It's been a success in the past, so hopefully this year as well. We also do the March food drive for the community center here in town. First grade track and field day along with the sixth grade track and field day, and then fun in the Sunday for the high school students in the spring, and then the state football pep fest / send off, and we serve the veterans at the Legion on Veterans Day. Yeah. Okay. So here to talk, we're gonna list some pros and cons of the school. We sent out a survey for 9th through 12th grade students through their email, and we compiled all the responses we got, and we're here to share those with you.
All right, first we have environment. We have a cop on duty and new security. Students enjoy feeling safe and at school. Be able to have a nice bond with the cop as they come into school. We have a positive learning environment. Students enjoy learning. Teachers make it fun. Teacher to student ratio. The classes are smaller, and that's good. So students have a good relationship with their teachers. Students are able to express themselves. We have a wide variety of different extracurricular activities that students can be involved in. They're able to wear hats. A lot of students enjoy being able to wear their hats to school, so that's a good plus to have. More freedom. Students enjoy going out in the courtyards during lunch. Be able to go outside, especially in wintertime. They enjoy going outside too. Staff tries to connect with students. They interact with them, and students enjoy having that personal touch with them. Second chance breakfast, a la carte. Students are able to have their second chance after first hour, so around 9 o'clock. That's the change. Students can go and try and have their second lunch, or excuse me, second breakfast for the morning.
We also have extracurriculars as our pros at Paynesville, such as our summer weight training program this year. It helped teach the athletes how to train their bodies the proper way so that way we can prevent injuries. We also have a robotics team, which is a new addition, and they're going to state, so congrats to them. And we've had successful sports seasons this year, such as football and volleyball did well, and then last year baseball. And then we have trips, which allow students to expand their travel. The German trip is going to Germany, and Spanish trip is going to Ecuador, and then band and choir just got back from New York.
Another plus side that we had seen in our survey was the academic side of it. So a lot of kids like that we have the post-secondary option so that they are able to get a chance to go to college and see what that's about while still being somewhat a part of high school and getting college credit then. And college classes in the school are a great way for students to get credits and stuff before they go to college, which saves us money, and a lot of kids like the challenge it provides. Same with PLTW classes, their college courses, their project Lead the Way. We have a Principles of Engineering class, a Principles of Biomedical Science class, and Human Body Systems. And the last two I said, PBS and HBS, they are anatomy courses in a way, and it's a very cool way to apply what we know to real life things. In the same way with Principles of Engineering, it's a way to learn how different technological stuff works. Art programs are really big here. We have lots of options for students, and there's lots of different creative things we can do that a lot of students like. Peer mentoring, again, another way that we get out in our school. When we go to the elementary school, kids get to see us, they get to know us, and if you like teaching, that's a great way to get experience for that. Advisory time is a huge plus. It's like a nice little break for everybody to just relax for a little bit and be able to talk with their friends and catch up on homework, whatever is needed. And it's right away in between first and third hour, which is a plus because it's right away in the morning. The makerspace is new in the middle school media center. It allows people to apply new technology to everyday activities, and it'll help students that are interested in going into the technological side of things get a head start. CNA class, a Certified Nursing Assistant, is a new class we've added. We're very excited. We have, I believe, ACGC in Eden Valley, correct, coming over to take this class with us as well. It's a great way to get a head start for a new job when you're in college. It'll get you all kinds of experience, and we're very excited about that. The Chromebooks also allowed our one-to-one project to kick off. It's reducing our paper use, and a lot of students find it more convenient to be able to do homework and share projects with other people and be able to work on them when they're in different areas of the town and doing different activities. And another thing too, we added another minute was added in between our classes, which a lot of people love because that gives them extra time to catch up with a friend for a little bit or go to the bathroom quick and get to class and get settled in time and not be late.
And for the structural piece of it, like Jacob said, many students enjoy eating in the courtyard or playing spike ball during lunch. The microwaves are a convenient way for students to warm up their lunches. The lights in the display case, people have been spending countless hours like adding lights to the display cases, making it easier to showcase like the arts, which is great.
Yeah,
and
props to the maintenance staff here. They're doing so much work. And yes.
And the new water fountains are great.
So here we have a list of improvements our students feel like could be implemented throughout the school. But we'll start with environment. We currently do not have an athletic trainer, and lots of students feel like it would benefit us to have one here for sporting events and injuries and such. And we also have limited lunch options. It'd be really cool, and if I feel like students would like to see a more variety of lunch options being served in the cafeteria.
Do you want to add on the athletic trainer, or do you think I know you guys want to say about it?
I just know, like, firsthand, I am an injured athlete, or I have been, and a lot of athletes don't have like the proper like icing techniques for after, and most coaches are designated with taping their athletes, and they don't always know the proper way, so then like they're left without proper care for their bodies, which is a big thing that we should try and implement.
Yeah, and on top of that, for athletic training too, I mean, it's such an important part of athletic success now is weightlifting and stuff, and an athletic trainer would very much help with like the form. I mean, when I lift a thing, the reason why I don't really like it is because I don't understand the form. I mean, there's plenty of reasons why I don't like it, but but one of the reasons is because I just don't quite understand the form, and I think an athletic trainer would really help in like make weightlifting fun and stuff like that. So if there's anything like a full-time person in the weight room where we can go in maybe during our EST because there's someone in there, or just I mean, I don't know what authority the school has with the weight room. I'm not quite sure about that, but I think it would go a long way in helping our athletic success. So yeah, now on to the academics. I've been looking into this quite a bit and just asking friends about it, and it seems like in a lot of the places around us, there are schools who are going to more like weighted GPAs or block schedules or trimesters, and from what I've heard, it seems like a more progressive and it's a system that I think is really beneficial and something that our schools should look at doing. I know we've had some talk about doing it already, but there's just a few things around like from talking to other schools where they are doing a more they're more progressive in how they're getting to with the technology and stuff. Like, for example, some schools are making their students take one online class, or some schools are giving kids the opportunity to stay home like the first 2 hours of the day and working on it, or like doing an independent class at home, or even like it's through the school, but everything you do is online and you don't even need to come into the classes except for like one day a week. So just stuff like that, I think our school really should look at, because I mean, if it's out there and if there's research that it helps, I think it's a really good thing, and it'd be a good thing to talk with the other schools. And yeah, there's just a whole bunch of cool things that other schools are doing that I think we could look at doing. And then another thing that people have talked about is people actually really want some classes that will help with life skills, and so more your home ec classes, and getting that into the high school, where, I mean, I really think that there's interest out there where people want to learn how to live on their own and stuff like that. And so that's something that we could look at implementing in the school in some regard. I'm not sure what that looked like. And then another thing that people are asking for is open EST and lunch, where if you have good grades and parent permission, you can leave the school and perhaps go to Subway or something and get food, or I mean, the liability part wouldn't be there because of the parent permission, and it would incentivize kids to get good grades. So it's another option that I think the school should look at. But yeah.
Adding on to the home ec classes, I feel like it would be really beneficial if we had like a financial class to help students like prepare for budgeting and learning how to save their money properly and doing taxes and different things like that. I think that a lot of kids would benefit from something like that. So when they go into the world, like if their parents aren't helping them out or something is different or something's difficult, they can't get the help they need, there would be an alternative option so that when they go and be an adult on their own in college, they're not completely lost in how to do financial things.
Yeah, a lot of schools, one sec, Jacob. A lot of schools too are doing business classes or like a whole entire business like curriculum program thing. And so they have financial classes, they have accounting classes, they have business management, a whole bunch of that stuff. And I mean, I don't know if we'd have the class sizes for that to look at it, but I think it'd have lots of interest here in Paynesville too. So just probably need more teachers, but like the elective options we have, I really feel could be broadened.
All right, continuing the list. For extracurriculars, a main one that we saw was that we're not allowed to work out before school without a membership. So a possible way that we could improve that is by giving the students a discount on the memberships or opening up the fitness center before school. Some athletes have practice after school, so they are not allowed to work out when it is open time for the fitness center. So that would just help keep our athletes in good shape. And even though sports teams are allowed in the fitness center with their coach, that's just that they're only allowed with their coach. So they can't go on their own and better themselves. So for structural, as a collective high school, we felt as though our overall curb appeal could be updated just a little bit from the gym or the lockers, like the blue in the middle school doesn't really match our school color. And then the tiles in the lunchroom, they just look a little bit outdated. And a big thing, a big thing is that the bathrooms, some of them have graffiti in them, so that's just like setting a negative vibe for our school when other people come and visit. As well, we have not enough gym space, which is very true. The basketball teams are needing to share the gyms by doing early and late practice, and gymnastics is not even at our school anymore. So a way to improve that would be by building a field house. The locker rooms are not up to date. The showers are typically very cold, and the shower heads do not work very properly. So we don't want the whole school to smell like BO, so it'd be nice if we could get those updated. And the softball field, they're a little outdated. It would be nice if we could update those so that way we could help raise more money by being able to host bigger tournaments and just create a better flow of income. And then the school is unevenly heated. When you walk from the high school to the middle school, it's about a 10-degree difference. So that's just something that we could look into. And lastly, the locked gates. Yeah, should have known those were coming. Some people, it has caused some very close accidents when everybody is trying to rush out of the school at once. Some people believe that they shouldn't have to wait in line, so they'll just try and shove their way in, which is not very good. Yeah, everybody's trying to beat the buses. And we thought that a way to fix that would be just to open them up for a certain time frame. So say from 8 o'clock or from 7:45 to 8:30, just so that way kids can get in, or even more limited. And then at the end of the day too, just even if it's just one gate. And then if we have big home events where a lot of people are here, it gives off a very negative aspect when everybody has to wait to get out of the parking lot. So, yes.
Okay, well, that's it for the cons. lot of feedback we got from the students. It is a great school, and we all enjoy coming to Paynesville High School. And there's some things that, you know, what we can improve on to make this even a better school. And I think with everything that we have, with your now that you see this and you know what you're going to improve on for the school, we definitely can look at some things into more. And I think it's a great experience. Thank you for letting us come here today.
Yeah, thank you all for this opportunity. Thank you for your time.
Hold on, just wait. You're not done yet.
Oh, any questions? Yeah.
Thank you. Board members, do you have any questions?
Oh, I've got one. Field house. We're looking at that. Now, some of you might not be around in a year or two, graduation, so I'm talking maybe some of those back there too. Are you willing to help us get something passed?
Yes.
Are you willing as students to go
Yes,
out?
we definitely
to the community
support
and
it.
work for that, because you're the ones that benefit. The whole community will benefit from a project.
We have also talked about with the curb appeal, such as NHS and student council, we would like to help like the school look a little bit more dated, like updated, if it be outside or on the inside as well. We would just like to volunteer some of our time.
Yeah, and I think what you're talking about, that would be an absolute great thing for us as student council to kind of lead and kind of get it out into the school. So if you guys, like if that becomes more of an important thing, please come talk to us, because I think it's something that is important to all of us, is getting this field house and keeping a school that we grew up in top shape. So it'd be something that we'd all love to advertise, and I think we're the organization to do that. So
Any other questions for the students?
Yeah, back to the field house. So right off the top, how many gym floors do you think we need? Any idea? We have just thrown out numbers, but we have the gymnastics coming back, but we're looking at a field house that has 4. Do you think that'd be enough?
Well, given that we have, gymnastics and wrestling and both girls and boys basketball, I mean, practicing every day, so that's something we have to come into account to say.
does that include the gymnastics and wrestling, those 4 gyms? No, it doesn't.
Four
Okay.
gyms coming in, added to what you have, but you guys are in it. What do you think would work?
So we'd have 6 total?
6 total.
Well, you lose the middle school
Okay.
because gymnastics would go in there.
Oh, yeah, okay.
You'd have a wrestling room, so you'd still have the high school, and you'd have 4 courts and a field house is what the plans are.
I think it would be great to have 4, because that way your middle school, like basketball players, could practice after school. And I mean, it's so much nicer to practice after school than have to go home and come back. And it would just really, and like girls in high school, varsity basketball right now, both the guys and girls, they have late and early practice. And having to, it just really disrupts your night, and it makes it so you can't do homework, and it just makes it a lot more stressful to have to go home first. So I think 4 is great, because it would allow all of our teams to practice right after school, and that's super important.
Eric, for the record, what winter sport are you in?
Hockey, go Stars. We're good on our ice space though, so.
I just say that because that's not coming from a convenience standpoint of Eric saying that. He's talking for the student body, not personal.
As well, I think it would be beneficial if we had an indoor track along with the field house, just so that way, because running in the hallways is very inconvenient. It's very bad for your shins, and you run into a lot of people, and you're saying a lot of sorries. So I think that would just be very beneficial as well.
Do we have an indoor track around the gyms? Do you guys?
Yeah, a walking track.
It is a walking track. It is not something that would ever be able to host an indoor track competition or anything like that.
Okay.
Yes.
And that's what it's important.
Yep. Any other questions for the students?
Just a thought. Oh, go ahead.
How many students actually want to come in and train in the mornings at the fitness center?
Well, right now there is actually a middle school group that comes in twice a week, and that's, I'd say, a collective 20 to 30 kids that come in twice a week, and other athletes do want to go in. I don't have an exact number.
I think the biggest problem with students coming in is they need to be supervised. It's a liability problem.
If we had an athletic trainer, that would be another.
Yeah, so I mean, when you look at this middle school weightlifting program, it's an unbelievable amount of kids that are in there 3 times a week, and I think the reason why high school kids don't go in at the same time is because if you had 40 high school kids as well, there's 80 kids, and you wouldn't be able to get anything done. So if we allowed some way to get high school kids, and I would not be surprised if we saw that many numbers in the high schools too, just on different days. And I know there'd be so much interest. It's become a really popular thing here, weightlifting has. So.
Thank you.
Anything else?
All I was going to bring up is just a thought came to mind that we're going to be losing some of these wonderful minds here in a year or two. I don't know which ones are seniors this year or whatever. If there's ever been any thought, my high school has an alumni association. If we've ever thought about Paynesville having an alumni association where we keep in contact with our former students, I think there are a lot of benefits to that, because there's also positives coming back towards us if we kept, but I don't think we've kept in touch very well over the years. Mm-hmm. So just something to think about.
Mm-hmm.
And my thought with the athletic trainer too might be something to think about as coaches, if there's, trainings or classes that, they can attend on proper icing, proper wrapping techniques. Might be something a little more tangible for our district than actually hiring an athletic trainer. But I think there's possibilities for even the coaching staff to learn those techniques as well.
Mm-hmm.
And just asking the question, because that might open up an avenue for other. I know if Dr. Young's comes in and to every football game, that's huge for a community our size, just to have somebody of a professional like that come in and watching and stuff like that. And who's to say that we can't have that same kind of support, maybe not a physician, but maybe a physician's assistant or somebody else that is, in that same kind of a realm, and come to some of the other athletic programs, just basically, sometimes it gets to be the point of just asking, is there availability or is there a want? And then as you get some of these people in, they start talking about it to their other colleagues and stuff like that. So that could be another avenue that we might need to explore, because finances is always a big thing, and you add something like that, that's going to take away from some other area. So, and that's why Heidi was referring to some of the other educational offerings that the coaches might could do, but we do rely on a lot of volunteers. As you know, as a school, there's a lot of volunteers that make this here happen. So, but I was very impressed with your presentation. You guys had a lot of thought. Kudos to you guys, because you did do a lot of work on that, and very, very thoughtful of how you presented it and stuff. And a lot of those key points we deal with every day as a school board, to try to figure out what we can do and can't do. And without you guys telling us, then it's going to go away. So, thank you.
Yeah, we shared the PowerPoint with, who'd we share it with?
We can.
Oh, we can share it with you guys.
If you guys wanted to, we can definitely share the PowerPoint with you so you could look at it more.
Well, we could just put it online with the rest of our board stuff.
Yeah, it certainly can be on there, but I was going to ask before you were done, number one, I would be really interested in getting a copy of this for myself, but if there's any survey data that you also have, I would be interested in getting that, so we can do some stuff with the data as well. And thank you very much for coming today.
Yeah, thanks for having us, guys.
Thoughtful and helpful.
Thank you. Advisors. That you guys?
I think it's student council.
Are you guys middle school now, or are you seniors? Middle school. Okay. Do you have a presentation like theirs?
Yes.
Cool. I'm gonna have to move again. Is it just like theirs? Yep.
Alrighty.
Who wants to run this?
Okay. We are middle school student council officers, and we just want to start off by thanking you for letting us share this, what we do. And I'm Emma Stanley, and I'm the president.
I'm Kylie Tangian, and I'm the vice president.
I'm Abby Weiss, and I'm the secretary.
So here's some things we do for the school student council. We do registration tours on open house night after students get their schedules, and if they're new to the school or if they don't know where their classes are going to be, we have our student council giving tours around the building, and all adults are also open to do this, and lots of adults do take the opportunity to, and I think it's a really great thing.
We do the homecoming t-shirts, so that is what they look like this year. We are in charge of designing, ordering, and distributing them. We also make sure that all of the forms get sent out to the students, staff, parents, and the community, and then we also sort the shirts out once we get them.
The 7th and 8th graders have a homecoming and Sweet Fest dance, and for the student council we make a playlist and we hire the Mike and Ikes to come and play the songs for us, and we also get the gym, and we also get the time and date that we are going to do everything, and we also are in charge of using our money that we get as a student council to purchase foods, beverages, and we also have door prizes that we often get, and we also are in charge of finding the chaperones and making sure they are able to come. And for some of the bigger dances, we also are responsible for setting up and taking down everything for before and after the dances. And we all have certain tasks that we are supposed to do, such as getting the stuff ready for the door prizes and getting the money. And it's just a fun time to enjoy with your friends and other classmates before or after school on a night when there's something fun going on.
Sixth graders have fun too. They have parties, and sixth graders have a couple different parties. And there's spring party, we have some open gym time. There's volleyball on one side of the gym and basketball on the other, as well as some other games. We also do jello slurping and water balloon catching contests to have some fun. And student council also has to provide everything like food and beverages. We have to plan the parties and set up for them, and also take down and clean up. And then student council also is in charge of finding chaperones for the party, for the event to happen.
The middle school does rake day, so we go out till about noon to rake people's lawns. This year I think we had 450 hours with all the students combined, so that will be all donated to the Rose Center.
And I know this has been brought up earlier, but Homeroom Olympics will be this Friday, and it is something that we as student council members try to help organize. And each advisory group has to make up a game, and other advisory groups go around and they play the games, and it's just a fun day where we bond as a school with other classmates. And as student council, we're responsible for changing up the schedule, especially working with the cafeteria and the food services for the lunches. And we also are responsible for keeping score, because there is up to 25 points that each advisory team can get. And then it's kind of like a friendly competition, and then there's an advisory group that wins every year.
And coming up this Friday is before the break. We provide candy canes as a holiday send-off for the middle school students. We organize a Santa and helpers to visit the preschooler students for the beginning of their holiday break. As our middle school student council members hand out the candy canes to 6th through 8th grade during the school day to all the different classes in the morning, it is a nice little treat for all of them to start off their holiday break.
We do the memory book for middle school. Some kids on the middle school student council take a camera and take pictures of all the sporting events that go on. And then we make a book and we put it together, and then we make sure we have all the orders and payments correct, and then we distribute them.
And Midwinter Activity Day is coming up, and it's kind of just where you take a school day and we all go somewhere fun. And some of the places we have went to in the past are Powder Ridge skating place, and there's an option of going to the bowling alley in town and then going back to school and watching a movie. And we also talk with the cafeteria to see if they can prepare lunches for the people that are not able to bring them. And we also make sure that there are enough chaperones to go with. It's just a fun day where we can enjoy.
Alrighty, so we do the food drive for the March Food Shelf Month through the collection of items to be given to the Community Service Center in Paynesville. We coordinate with pickup and weighing of the food and all the other items that the matching fund can be accessed. So in the past, we have really been successful by giving a lot of food and other items to our community, and have hope to grow.
The dress-up dance for 7th and 8th grade is a thing we do once a year. So we select a theme, and the one that we had last year was a destination. So each spot would have a different destination. We buy all that with the money that we have. We also put together a music playlist, and then we hire Mike and Ike's. And then we set up and take down for that as well, and organize what food we're going to get.
And one thing we do towards the end of the year are that student council members and 6th graders especially give tours around the building to the 5th graders as a way to kind of show them and welcome them to the middle school. And the 5th graders will eat with lunch with the 6th grader that day, so they can kind of bond and get to know the people that they are going to be spending the majority of the next year with.
Paynesville Area Schools has a lot of great things, and we really like how that in the middle school library this year they added a makerspace, and it gives the students a chance to make different projects such as like woodwork or 3D projects, and a lot of kids are taking advantage to it.
A lot of kids like having the Chromebook because you can have it wherever you go, and it's just much easier to do your homework on. And like they said, if you wanted to share something, you could share them and you wouldn't have to be in the same room.
And in Paynesville, we've got a nice small community, and the class sizes are really small, so you get to know everyone really well, and that includes the teaching staff, and we're all just like a giant happy it's like a giant family that we can all come to and rely on every day.
New improvements to our school is to get a new scoreboard control panel in the middle school gym. It always skips around numbers when scoring games or anything, and we would like to fix it or get a new one, and always make sure like the scoreboard functions correctly to get the lights replaced, because half of the time only some lights work on it and some not.
Currently we have blue bleachers and mats in the middle school gym, so when we take pictures with the sporting events, the background is blue, and we think it would be better if we had them school colors.
And in the bathrooms and locker rooms, the sinks are not very reliable, so we'd like to get new sinks because sometimes they don't work and other times they run continuously and they are hard to stop. So that would be something that we would like to fix.
One thing that we think would be good for the 6th graders if they could carry around their backpacks during school, because we get like, I don't know, they want to, like, if they forget anything in their class, then they would have it with them instead of going back to their locker, and also having them go back to their locker like every hour to get their stuff, so they could just carry around their backpacks.
Some students said that they want an ice machine in the school, so your water would be cold, or even if there would be an injury at a sporting event, we wouldn't have to be looking for ice. We could just always rely on that.
And are there any questions?
I have one. for you and probably for the senior high too. I just thought about it, but you mentioned several times that you provide this for that event or whatever. Where do you get your funding from?
We've got our advisor, Ms. Knoll here.
Oh, she does it all?
Very good. One of the things that we do with our parties and our dances is that we make it so that we can charge admission, and we are pretty much self-sustainable that way. When we are also lucky enough that after we pay for the memory books, the small amount that we make per book comes into our fund that is going to be there. So we have a balance that we cover. We used to, and I've been doing this for a really long time. There's just going to be quite a bit of money that came in from the pop and candy machines that used to be in middle school. That's gone away, so we've had to be creative with it. So one of the things, and Mrs. Whaler is here as well, we kind of sit and we look at it and go, yes, we made $12 for this one, so we're above it. But that's where the middle school, we come up with some of it. The fact that the student council and Mrs. Weller and I put a long time into the memory book, it reverted that money there. So that's very helpful. But our dances and our parties are pretty much self-sustainable. This year we were approached by PAX as far as doing the t-shirts, which was a very nice thing, and we decided that rather than kind of made an executive decision, rather than ordering 500, we did a pre-order. We had 2 extra, and that was it. So, you know, looking at it and trying to be as efficient as possible.
Cool. Good. Any other questions? No. Good job.
Are you guys willing to go out and support a vote for? Okay. It's important that you guys go out because the community is going to have a hard time saying no. Well, I'm saying no easy. It's not going to say no to the kids.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right, who's next? Is that it? That's it? Okay. All right, we're going to move on to policy review, second reading and approval. You got those in front of you or in your packet? Does anybody have any questions? So we're reviewing what policy 401, 402, 403, 404, and 406. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm just about back there. So just.
Aren't you there yet?
I'm sorry. Just give me one more second, and I'll be right with you.
You're sharing your Chromebook. Okay.
Okay, I am back. Yeah. So we have policy 401, equal employment opportunity; 402, disability non-discrimination; 403, discipline, suspension, dismissal of school district employees; 404, employee background checks; and 406, public and private personnel data. This is second reading. The board approved first reading at our December 4th meeting. The policies have been posted since then. We have not had any inquiries or questions or concerns regarding the changes to these policies. I would classify all of these changes as mostly technical and having them become compliant with changes in other laws or legislation. I don't see anything significant. All of these policies are in alignment with our current practice. So it would be my recommendation that these policies are approved for second reading and approved and updated.
Can we make a motion for all of them because it's on line C, or should we technically make a motion for each one?
As long as your motion has in there that you are including policies 401, 402, 403, 404, and 406 for approval and second reading.
I think that's exactly what I said.
I think it is too.
Yep.
I'll second.
So I got a motion from Bruce and a second from Cheryl. Any other further discussions? Hearing none, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, and carried. Thank you. Facilities project, D. Well, we had a meeting last night, so Matt, do you want to start us off?
I'm on D as scheduling upcoming meetings.
No,
Yes, facility project.
That's E.
Okay.
What's that?
On the revised one, D is schedule the policy committee meeting.
I have D as scheduling policy committee meeting.
Was there another resend?
That was the first. That was the first one we got. The second agenda's got it in.
We had a little error in the first one we sent out, so we had to resend. I apologize.
Yeah, this is the second one.
Here. Oh, you're right here, Mike.
Let's just schedule a policy committee, if you don't mind.
Meeting? Okay, fine.
And I know this is a catch-22.
Oh, here it is.
I know that there are new board members coming on in January, and I understand that, yes, I am asking people to schedule a meeting, and we don't even know who's going to be on the policy committee for 2019. However, I do think it's important for us to continue our policy work, continue with our cycle. And so what I'm asking is that we would be able to schedule a policy meeting for Monday, January 14th at 6 p.m. in the district office. Typically, these policy meetings have been during the day. It works for the current policy committee to schedule them during the day. I would like to just schedule one in the evening because we don't know who the policy committee will consist of. I think there's a better chance anyone who would be on that committee would be able to make an evening meeting. So if we could schedule this, that would be great. The alternative, if the board doesn't want to schedule a policy committee meeting and wants to wait until they know who's on the committee for them to schedule it, realistically then everyone just has to be okay with our review cycle is not going to hit our January and March timelines. We can still get the work done. It's just it is not going to fall in order with the timelines that we had laid out earlier. So what is the wish of the board? What is the direction you guys would like to go with this? Well, board?
Well, if you're moving it to 6 o'clock, so we're being careful of everybody, I don't see why it would hurt to schedule and then you have to remind everybody when we decide where everybody's going to go, and at that point they can change that date.
Sure.
If it's an issue. Mm-hmm. But at least you have something on the schedule to move forward. Does that make some sense?
I think that makes perfect sense. So if we could just schedule a policy meeting then for Monday, January 14th, 6 p.m. in the district office. Okay, excellent. Thank you. And now we are at the facility project.
We don't have to make a motion or something funny like that?
No.
Okay.
We're good.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right. So now we're going to the facilities now?
Now we are going to facilities project.
Okay.
Yep. Sorry, Mark.
That's fine.
So obviously we had another facility committee meeting last night. I think I summarized my perception of the meeting and the ideas that were being expressed. It was a quiet group, so I guess I'm opening this up to the board as far as thoughts from last night, and then what is the wish of the board as far as how do we want to proceed.
Still quiet.
I thought the meeting was interesting last night. There were people that maybe we didn't hear from so much talking. I think we always come up with better decisions when lots of people are commenting. So from that perspective, I thought it was quite interesting.
I think what I gathered too is that it seemed like the consensus of the group was to keep moving forward with it, not necessarily making any, decision, but at least I think everybody was on the same page as let's keep going with this and just see where it goes.
And the one perception that I have is when we are talking about the concept and the what that we're trying to accomplish, I don't hear anybody being in disagreement with that.
Right.
I believe that the concept is sound. The community priorities that are being addressed in the plan are truly community priorities that have been identified. The school district needs that we talk about are also being addressed in the plan.
Right.
So my opinion was, as far as the concept, the priorities, and the needs, I think all three of those are running very parallel to each other. They are moving at the same pace. Does the board feel the same way?
Yep, I believe so. I think we've been at it for, 36 months or something like that. Somebody was saying last night. And you could tell that a lot of the, just by the reactions of some of the people that were there that have been to a lot of the meetings, is just like, okay, let's keep on going. Let's keep on moving forward and start to get the plan so that we can refine it to maybe a more favorable or palatable number. Just for those who aren't here, that was a little over almost $17 million when it's all said and done. So that's a lot of money, and we want to make sure that we have exhausted all avenues before we go ahead and say this is truly the number, and making sure that will be supported from the community members and stuff like that, and also the board. We all have to be comfortable with that, because we're the ones that are going to make that decision. It's not going to be the community members themselves for the vote. Obviously, the vote is going to determine the project. So we all have to be comfortable with that process too. So I think we're going in the right direction. I think we're getting a lot of answers answered with the different types of materials that we could potentially use and the cost savings and stuff like that. So I'm really pleased on just all the efforts that are being done so far. But a lot more work is needed. So that was just my take on it.
And just for clarity again, nothing has been totally decided. The number isn't decided. The exact floor plan is not decided. We're just deciding today to move forward. I just want the community to know that this is not set in stone yet. Today's decision is to move forward or not, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily know, I have this item listed as an information or an action item because I do have a question I will pose to the board that I would like the board to do some steps to keep the process moving. But truly, this is just more a conversation about what everyone's feeling were for after the four meetings, the fourth meeting being last night. So yeah, there really hasn't been any decision made about anything at this point.
I think we're at a point where we have 4 members leaving, 3 members that are moving forward. We're going to have a little bit of time here catching everybody up to where we're at with the additional people coming in. And I think we need to do that and possibly address moving forward with that group, because they're going to be the ones that are going to be actively school board members at the time we start proceeding.
I'd have to agree with Bruce on that. I do have concerns. It is a hefty price tag. The community, since I've been on the board, the community has backed this school unbelievably. And the money that has been donated to the school, from the playground to even people that didn't have a lot of money donating $200 to the gala and whatever. And I think it's time to just back up, let the new people come in and look at it. And there is also another question with that. It's a huge project, and we need to really look at if we can get the price tag down. Because if we can't, then maybe it's time, instead of the school sitting there, we want the whole thing or we want none. Maybe it's time to say, wait a minute, the CTE part's this, the gym's this, and the whole project's this. We have all these kids out here that'll campaign for us and that. And I think we could, I'm not saying the project ain't worthwhile, but let's put it back in the community, because this school's going to be what the community says and what they want. So I think we really need to let the new school board take it over and examine all those.
And I do have to say, for the community to know too, is that the incoming board has been present at a lot of the facility meetings, and so I think that's huge, is that they are taking part of it and know what's coming, which I think we appreciate.
Other thoughts?
Well, one of the questions was when we would take a vote, and I think that we really shouldn't make that decision yet either. I think I just have some qualms about trying to go ahead too fast with that, and I think the new school board needs to come on board and take a look at that and make some decisions on what they feel would be best for that as well. So I don't think we should be pressed thinking that we have to get something going before a certain time because we want to have it on a ballot at a certain time.
I think one of the other things that the board should do is probably sit down and explore an owner's representative. And so that was going to be my question to the board today is, could we schedule a meeting potentially where I could get UNESCO, who was the second opinion, or the party that gave us the second opinion on the construction estimate, get them out here just to be able to visit with the board about what it is they do, what their services are, how they're structured, and all of the pieces that an owner's representative could provide to the school district. Is that something that the board sees value in? Is that something that the board has strong opposition to? What is the board's perception on at least getting a date set where we could have UNESCO come out and visit with the board about an owner's representative?
I think that it's a good idea. I think no matter whatever we do, we need to be looking at all options. I do think that we are just a short time away from the holidays anyway. We're going to appoint the new board on the 7th of January. I'd be encouraged to think that that board will decide that they will have the owner's representative in. But my stance on it is I think that we should not be entering this thing without exploring all the options that we have. And that's where I would put that owner representative. I don't know enough about it. So, and I think I said at one of the meetings, I think it's important. I don't know necessarily that we need to schedule a meeting today because nothing's going to happen over the holidays anyway. And the new board should be analyzing that.
Well, and I think there's some room for that. I don't necessarily see and I'm not putting words in anybody's mouth when I say this, but I don't see the business of the district hitting the pause button because we have 4 new board members coming on. I've had one board orientation session with new board members on December 12th. I will have another one on December 19th. And truly, my intention here is they need to come in and join the organization, and we need to keep moving forward. And we need to continue. We can't, whether it's 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or a month, as a school district, we can't just hit the pause button until everyone is on board. It's part of my job and part of a new board member who's coming on to invest the time, to be prepared, to be ready to go come January 2nd and be ready to pick up the business where the current board leaves off and move and keep that work going. So I just hope that is the consensus, that the idea is that we need to have a seamless transition here, and we need to keep the good work that's been happening so far. We need to keep that going, and I don't know that we can identify a time or a period where we're just going to kind of see what happens and wait. We need to keep working on it.
I think that as a board, we can say that we feel that we really should look at an owner's rep. And I don't think we need to wait for the next 4 to come in and say, yeah, we should or shouldn't. Okay. We've made that decision, and it's not going to cost us anything, as I understand.
Correct.
And then they can make the decision, but I think it's one of the parts that we really need to look at because I'm interested in that, and I'd like to know what all they would provide.
Okay. Can I go ahead and get that meeting scheduled for the week of January 7th?
Sure. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yep. Perfect. I will send out possibilities for the week of January 7th on having UNESCO come out to.
And you'll include in that send out to all the new board members. I don't know what their calendars look like. When we schedule a meeting, all of us are looking at our phones. There's 4 of them that aren't here.
I'll see them tomorrow night.
Okay.
Yep.
And the only thing that I want to comment on this year, and I was very much outspoken on the last meeting regarding that it should be this board. We did all the work and stuff like that. But I do realize, too, that it's getting too close to the end, and I do agree with the rest of the board that we should wait off until the new board comes in. But I caution you guys, if this is still going on in the middle of July, August, you're going to be losing a lot of support out there from people that are interested in this. You know, there's one thing about doing your due diligence and stuff like that, but then do your due diligence in a timely fashion. Because if this is still going on next year, by come school start next year, I'm just afraid you're going to lose a lot of great people out there for your support. So just a caution. That's all I'm saying. Just a caution.
Sounds good. So I will get a meeting scheduled, and I will send an email out to everybody with what those possibilities are. I'll probably have 2 dates as possibilities, and then I will also be visiting with the new board members tomorrow night, and we'll talk about those exact same dates as well.
Mm-hmm. And I just want to make one other comment.
Yep.
Because last night we were talking about taxation, and I just want people to realize what taxation means to a school system. I went back after Bruce and I talked a little bit about what does taxation to our school district, what does it do to my personal taxes. So I went back the last 10 years. In the last 10 years, we didn't do any major anything to the school. My personal taxes ranges over a $300 spread of money in 1 year. That's how much fluctuation. It depends upon how well your school is, your community is doing as a tax whole. So to put a defined amount of money, what this is actually going to cost is relative to a lot of things when you start pulling it all together. Because if my taxes can range any $300 any given year without any projects, there's more to taxation than it meets the regular eye on how much money you're paying. So again, thanks Bruce for letting me go back and look, because I did, and that was quite a range. And guess what? Today I'm paying less taxes than I did 8 years ago. So, and it's the same house. I didn't move. So.
And I think the other thing too, and I was having conversation at one of the tables with the 4 gentlemen that were sitting at the table, is that the one interesting or frustrating component of all of that, depending on which way you look at it, as the school district doesn't have any ability to impact the underlying cause of it, which is assessments. That is truly whatever the assessed value is, that's what is driving a lot of this.
So if the next item is F, can I interject here a different topic? And the topic is, I want to take a moment to thank 4 school board members that are leaving before we close this meeting for the next one. It has been a joy to work with Randy and Lou and Mark and Heidi. Our school board has been nicely meshed together, but we have 7 different opinions. And every time we have 7 different opinions and we have a decision that we're making, we are approaching it from 7 different places. And I have enjoyed working with all of you. So thank you very much for your years of service, and to those 4 board members. I just want to say before we close, because when we come back and open, there won't be anybody here.
No problem. Anything else with facility?
Appreciate that.
All right.
So we're going to go close the meeting now for an evaluation of the superintendent. So we'll do so right now.
We need a motion.
You need a motion.
I make a motion to close.
Second. Got a motion from Lou and a second from Randy. Any other further discussions? Hearing none, all in favor signify by aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign, and carried. All right.